Yes, you guys, welcome back. Tomorrow evening at 8:15 PM UK time, we play our second away game in the space of 3 days against Leicester City. Now, after seeing that rotational lineup that was used in the previous win, that scrappy win versus Fulham, it's quite clear that Lampard has been preparing for this game way in advance, and for very good reason. Leicester City have recently beat Southampton 2-0 in a deserved win. They continue their good work under Brendan Rodgers, and tomorrow night is a massive opportunity to close that 6-point gap difference between us and Leicester City, because right now we are level on points with Southampton and West Ham and only 3 points behind Aston Villa. Now interestingly, us and Leicester have lost the same amount of games this season. However, Leicester have won more games. But honestly, and what I'm about to say has been thrown around constantly throughout the season, but tomorrow's game really is a must-win game against Leicester City. Now, under Brendan Rodgers, Leicester City have proven to be very difficult opposition. Brendan uses a variety of options against different opponents. Against teams like Liverpool and Man City, Leicester have tended to pack the midfields and make things harder, but against teams that are battling for the top 4 spot around them, Leicester have been confident this season using a 4-2-3-1. So in tomorrow's game, what type of Leicester City are we going to face? Considering Leicester City have a full strength team, we must be at our A game in tomorrow's game. Tomorrow we want to see the players performing. We want to see the tactical improvements in the team. And of course, most importantly, we want to pick up those 3 points, you guys. So in today's match preview, I'm going to break down the press conference. I'm going to go through Lampard's predicted lineup, and to end things, I'll have a special guest right at the end in Son of Chelsea. So I hope you guys do enjoy. Very quickly, you guys, I have released a Haaland news video today. If you want to hear the latest news behind the crazy story you guys want to do. And for this review, if I can get 500 likes in the first 1 hour, then I will release a Haaland reaction video later tonight, you guys. So without wasting any more time, let's kick things off by breaking down the press conference. Now, we start the press conference on a pretty negative vibe. We have found out that Kante won't be taking any part in tomorrow's game. He has not returned back from his hamstring injury, so let's hope that by next week, Kante is going to be fully fit and ready to play. Of course, today we got news suggesting that Tomori is set to sign for AC Milan. We saw that Danny Drinkwater has signed on loan for 6 months. The Turkish team Kasımpaşa, Lampard said good luck to Danny, and for Tomori, Lampard said that he is a developing player. At the club right now, we have 5 centre-backs, so naturally, it makes sense for Tomori to leave and get a loan move. It makes sense in the end because Tomori was ready to leave this club permanently, but for the potential the player has, we can't afford to miss out on him. So for me, I think this satisfies all parties. And to continue on, talks then turned to Mason Mount. Now, honestly, Lampard must have a burner account on Twitter. He seems to know everything that's being said at all times. It seems like he's not rating it, you guys. Lampard mentioned that Mason might not be doing 3 step-overs in the game, so maybe this isn't why he's rated, but I'm going to read an extract from what Lampard said in the conference today. As Lampard said about Mason Mount, he does so much work off the ball, he does all the basics. He moves the ball quickly, he scores goals, he finds assists, he does all those things. One thing he has got is a great attitude. A great way of seeming like he is never concerned about the outside. The critics are wrong. He's just turned 22. Imagine what he's going to be like at 25 or 27. So I know how certain men are taking this right now. Imagine what, Frank? Imagine what? Imagine if you were a good manager. So you know what? It's one of them ones where, as it tends to happen with young players I've noticed around football, you are going to get hated for a bit until one day, finally it will click in, and when that day comes, all the naysayers, all the critiques will forget everything they said and pretend nothing ever happened. So to continue with you guys, Frank said a win tomorrow will boost the entire team's confidence. Lampard also mentioned that Leicester City are title contenders. Now for me, this is typical pressure tactics for managers who like to use the press conferences as ways to, put that pressure on. And in a sense, I can kind of understand it. No one ever speaks about Leicester City. They've been quietly just clocking up wins, picking up, really good results too. They're currently 3rd in the table, so naturally the pressure has to be applied on them. And of course, to end things, talks did turn to Timo Werner and his current form. Now, I released a nice tactical breakdown of the game for us Fulham where, I have some of my own personal theories behind Werner's form, but as Lampard said, using his previous knowledge as a player, it's natural for every player to experience something like this. Frank himself will know from when he first started when he was young, and in moments like like this, it's only natural that the magnifying glasses are going to be pointed towards you. Now, as Lampard was saying, although to not compare him to Torres, it's up to Frank himself to find the best environment for Timo to do his thing and find his form. So for me personally, I have not given up on Werner at all just yet. I think more time is needed, and I'm very happy to wait because, you know, I've always been someone that kind of prioritizes the long term as long as I know that the plan is working towards that. So now we move on to the predictor lineup. Now, the fact that Kante won't be fit for the game tomorrow must only mean one thing for me, and I think for a lot of you guys, we have to see Billy Gilmour playing in the base of midfield. Now, as a fan, I can assume it's a lot easier saying that because let's not forget, during the second half of last season, it was the Leicester City game in which Gilmour picked up his injury. So if he does play tomorrow against Leicester, this could be a pretty impactful one. This could be an opportunity for Gilmour to just, you know, build that confidence even more, and could be a great personal test to prove that he isn't fazed by the physicality and he's still confident to play his football. From a tactical perspective, you guys, I think he is key to how we build up in midfield. So I'm hoping he starts the game tomorrow. But anyway, you guys, we start things with the first lineup. And as I stress every single time, this is not my personal lineup. I'm just trying to imagine a lineup Lampard might pick. I hope I'm saying things clearly, you guys. But anyway, with the first lineup, it's very reminiscent to that 4-0 win against Morecambe. Hudson-Odoi, I feel he has to start. I feel all of us know he has to start. His form has been too impressive. The fact he never started against Fulham, for me, gave me the hope and confidence that he would be starting against Leicester tomorrow night. So I have to see him there. On the right-hand side, you've got to see Hakim Ziyech, who, you know, I'm not understanding some of the pressure that he's getting. I mean, he's just returned back from injury. He clearly needs some of the minutes to get back to full form. I don't understand why there's this unnecessary pressure on Ziyech, who has been good this season. And of course, up front, you guys, I have gone for Timo Werner because it's based on the lineup we used against Morecambe. Again, this could be an opportunity for Werner to, you know, find some space to play in, to, you know, learn how to play with the team even more. And for me, every time Ziyech, Hudson-Odoi and Werner have played, they do look pretty strong together, so let's see what happens tomorrow. In midfield, I've gone for Mount, Havertz and Gilmour. Havertz, man, Havertz is key in this team alongside Ziyech because of the rotation they bring. You know, they swap positions, they have that free role, and it makes it harder for teams to pick them up and to counter them. For me, I believe that over time, everyone's going to see this even more, and this is why I've got faith in how things are going right now. And of course, in defense, I have to see Ben, Reece, Silva, Zuma and Mendy in goal. Now for the second lineup, this is a lineup that's based on the possibility that Werner might not start because Tammy, when he came on against Fulham, his energy, his willingness to press from the front as well. You know, I thought he looked hungry, he looked good. And against Leicester, this could be a great opponent for him. Alongside Hudson-Odoi and Ziyech, of course, this would bring some great threat against Leicester because Tammy is a very mobile forward that can hold the play up, that can bring people into the game, that can stretch the play as well. And you know, with the energy he plays with, the mentality he plays with, I like him as part of the team, you guys. And of course, in midfield, I've gone for the same Mount, Havertz and Gilmour. I have to see that midfield. I think that's the reason why Kai never played against Fulham. And naturally in defence, our best defence this season, Silva, Zuma, Reece James, Ben, and of course Mendy. Ben, this is a great opportunity to go back to his former team and let's show the levels basically. For me, it's been a great signing. As I said, I wish that I, you know, praise him even more instead of focusing on Tagliafico. But, you know, when I do this football thing, you guys, every season I'm learning things and adding to my knowledge. And, you know, that's what I love about the game. So now we end things with the final segment for today's video. I'm joined by a special guest and son of Chelsea. And we're going to discuss the things Lampard can do to help us win the game. And, of course, give our match prediction too. Hey man, welcome back. And before I kick things off, you guys, of course, you can check out Son of Chelsea's preview on his channel. You'll find a link below in the description and in the card above as well. So to kick things off, man, for the prediction tomorrow, name me 3 standout players that you feel will make a big impact in the game tomorrow evening.
I think Billy Gilmour, because I want to see him in the deep position in midfield, because I think he probably should have started the other day, but I think with Kante injured, perfect opportunity for him to start. Callum Hudson-Odoi, I think it'd be criminal if Frank doesn't start him in this game, especially the type of game it is and the influence he's having in the final third. And I'm going to say Timo Werner. I know a lot of people won't start him, but I I just get the sense all the comments that Frank makes in his press conferences backing Timo, it just leads me to believe he's going to start this game. And I just wonder, it's easy to say, right? And he hasn't been performing that well. This could be the perfect game for him to finally hit the back of the net in the Premier League again.
Yeah, I agree so too. I feel like, there's some understanding with Werner and Lampard in regards to the difficulties he's had. And, I think just even a month ago, the club actually released an interview from Timo Werner where he was explaining the difficulties he was having in terms of the intensity and the physicality, which is taken him by surprise a lot more than he actually expected. So, there's a belief right now of just patience and, with the environment getting that right, things are going to snap and click into place. So for me, even though it's a slight risk, because I think Tammy Abraham is also deserving, I would understand if Lampard picked Werner over Tammy in the game tomorrow evening. But of course, against Leicester City, these are difficult opponents that we must respect. And who is one player that you're fearful of from Leicester City?
I think it's obvious to say Jamie Vardy, right? Because he's just such an incredible forward. He's got that anticipation. But I want to say Harvey Barnes, because I think maybe he's a player that people won't instantly look at. I think if you were to talk about Leicester in a more general view, you'd look at Vardy and then I think you look at Maddison behind him. But I think Barnes this season, his goal rate, he's got 10 goals, I think, this season, hit double figures, scored against us last season in the Premier League at the King Power. So he has so much influence in the final third with this team. And I think it just shows you that Leicester's ability, especially from their academy to develop, Barnes had a good loan spell at West Brom in the Championship. And he's really become a player in the final third that knows where the goal is, that can help out the likes of Vardy. Him and Vardy have a really good connection. And he's a good finisher as well. If he gets into the final third and he can get in front of goal, he can be a bit of a clinical finisher. So he's a player I think Chelsea shouldn't forget about. Obviously you'll look at Vardy, you'll look at Maddison, you'll look at Tielemans, but that's a player I think has really impressed me this season.
Yeah, I think that is definitely a fair shout. He's had a very good low-key season. For me, Tielemans, I feel like he has to be stopped because a lot of the good runs off the ball made from Barnes and Vardy, etc., come from the delivery from Tielemans. So I feel the game tomorrow, as it tends to be against Leicester City, is very compact. Both teams kind of cancel each other out. But I do feel with some of the players we have now, we can probably add a bit more variety into our game when it comes to breaking them down. But I feel like the flanks is going to be very important in deciding who the winner is going to be in that game tomorrow. And considering now that we have Reece James and Ben fully fit, and I think one of the main reasons behind why Frank did not use Reece in the game versus Fulham was because he wants them to be fully fit for the game versus Leicester, because they're an intense team. Rodgers is a great manager who's been underrated for a very long time, and it's very exciting to see how the game's going to turn out tomorrow. But so we can end things very quickly, man, what is your match prediction for the game tomorrow?
I'm going to go for a big 2-1 Chelsea win. I think it would be massive to beat Leicester. I think it would change a lot of the mood around Stamford Bridge at the moment. It's going to be very tough. Leicester, look at the table. They are where they are because they've done so well so far this season. Chelsea have to be at their best. The performances recently haven't been good enough. So if we're at that level, even the Fulham level, I don't think we will win the game or could even lose it. But I'm going to be optimistic. I think this could be a big night for Chelsea and for Lampard.
That sounds very good. I'm going to be a tiny bit more ambitious. I'm always being over ambitious. I'm going for a 2-0 win. But you guys, thank you for watching. Of course, Son of Chelsea, you'll find all his details in the description below. I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos.